Good afternoon. My name is Sandra Brown Wright, and I am a member of the Board of Trustees at the Yeadon Public Library. Today we're going to share with you a repeat of a workshop that took place on November the 18th, 2017 at the Yeadon Public Library under the leadership of our director, Mr. Richard Ashby. First of all, I want to tell you the purpose of the workshop that's being taped, and I'm just very happy that you are able to access it and to view it. We hope and we know that it will be very beneficial to you and your family as you are selecting books for each child. That's why the title of the workshop that we're taping today is Choosing the Just Right Book for Your Child. We want to thank our presenters today, who will be Miss Erica Wills from the Bell Avenue School, and we also want to thank the other site facilitator, Mrs. Marie Thompson from Evans Elementary School, and we thank them for repeating this workshop from November the 18th. With the purpose of the workshop, it's threefold. First of all, it's going to explain to you the Scholastic Reading Inventory, or the SRI score. And also, Miss Wills and Miss Thompson, they're going to share with you what does this score mean. They're going to share with you reports that you should have already received at report card conference time, since that was in November. And if you didn't receive the reports, that's fine, because they'll show you reports that you can request at a later date or at the next teachers conference, parent teachers conference. And the third part of the workshop will be, how do you use the Lexile score that's presented in one of the reports? How will you use the Lexile score to help you effectively choose the right book for your son or daughter or your grandchild? And I need to go back a step just to point out something that I think is important, that this workshop originated from the idea of working with parents. I volunteer in the community as a literacy tutor. And in working with one of the parents, they were showing me the report card. On one of the aspects of the report card, it was a report that was the SRI report. And I'm just talking about all the information, and then the light bulb went off, and I said, do you really understand what this is all about? And the parent wonderfully said no. So the light bulb went off, and that's when I decided to ask the William Penn School District, so we thank you for that partnership, if we could have two of the facilitators to share the information with the parent. So this workshop actually developed out of working with you, the parents and the grandparents. So we know it's going to be very helpful. Thank you.
My name is Richard E. Ashby Jr., and I'm the director at the Yeadon Public Library. And here at the library, we are trying to facilitate this Lexile initiative. Our goal is to make it a painless event, a painless visit when a parent, a grandparent, or caretaker come to the library and they ask us about the Lexile reading score and Lexile books and the materials. And so therefore, we want to be able to make that parent comfortable, not embarrass the child, not make a parent feel their child is inadequate. So there's a few steps that we have to take as a library and to make sure this happens. So we have, at our front desk, we have made the Lexile website one of our favorites on our computers. So at that front desk, the staff will be able to pull up the Lexile website and give the parent an idea. I'm going to just load this as to what is going on. Now, I know when I was growing up, we did not have Lexile. And so reading became very difficult to me. But nowadays, in our school systems, we have Lexile. I don't know. So this is step 2. Let's go to step 1. Okay, so at our front desk, when someone comes in and they ask for the Lexile, if we have Lexile books, my staff will go to this page. And on this page, we will utilize the Just the Right Book feature. So if a parent says, you know, my child is here and he doesn't have the score, and we don't know the score, and we have not received the report card yet, and so instead of shrugging our shoulders saying, well, you have to go back to the school, we take them to this page, and we'll say, find just the right book. Mm-hmm. And so, Lexile, the Lexile range, but we didn't get the Lexile. We didn't get the Lexile range. Okay, no problems. What grade is the child in? Oh, he's in the 2nd grade. So then you say, well, it says, find the books I read for school is difficulty. I find the books I read for school is just right. I find the books for school are easy. So then now you have to have a conversation with the child. And once they say, well, you know what? I find the books for school are just right. So 2nd grade, and whatever he's reading in class is just right. So we come on down and we hit submit. Okay, Johnny, what kind of book do you like to read? Well, I like adventures, I like art, and you know, my father's a preacher, so I like religion. So we put those 2 categories, and then we hit submit. And these are the books that we come up with. One of my favorites, The Boxcar Children. Loved it. The Boxcar Children and Pippi Longstockings. Couldn't get enough of it. Pippi, she was tough. You remember how tough Pippi was? Mm-hmm. I wasn't that tough. I was trying to be Pippi once or twice. It didn't really work. And so now we have books that you can select from. That's when we empower the child and the parent. So we say, pick out a couple of books that you think you might be interested in. We take them over to our catalog. So now it's a lesson. Now it's a full library lesson. Mm-hmm. Here's how you find a book. You can find it by the title, you can find the subject, or you can find it by the author. And then we let them start, they write down the book, and then they start looking for their own books. And then they feel empowered. Now we don't put the scores on the binder of the books. That can be embarrassing. What number are you? 1. Oh, please. We don't want to make reading hard. We don't want to make reading an embarrassing situation. We want to make reading fun. We want to make the children feel that they're empowered. Now they can see where they're going. They can see where they're going, rather than when I was reading, you really didn't know where you were going until you got that little test with the little boxes, and you just didn't know. But now with Lexile, you see where you're going. And the problem, there's only one problem that could happen: trying to make a public librarian a school librarian. Can't do it. So in the public library, what we do is when they come in with their Lexile scores, if they want to choose something else, go ahead. We say, go ahead. We don't want to stifle them. We don't want to censor their reading. In the school, they may say, well, no, this is what you read. But when they get to the public library, they get a little bit more freedom. So it's a good thing. Because in the school, they are structured. And then when they do leisure reading or whatever in the library, they have, so it's the best of both worlds. It's the best of both, especially when you come to libraries in Delaware County, because a lot of the libraries have where you can order if you don't have the book, sometimes they will get the book for you or buy the book. And every library in Delaware County is connected. So if we don't have the book, we can ask Lansdowne, we can ask Darby, we can ask Media, and they have the book sent here. Another website that we will be using is Kids Book Series. Right. Kids Love Series. That's what the Boxcar Kid was. Boxcar Kid was series. And on with this website, you see, look, this wasn't here the last time we had this. Monday, December 4th, 2017. We are excited to share the news that we are now certified partner of Metametrics Incorporated, Lexile's framework for reading. Now, this website is going to give you the Lexile books with the Lexile scores that's corresponding with the Lexile scores. So these are two websites that we use here at the Yeadon Public Library to facilitate and cooperate with the schools and facilitate a better transition from the school to this library in receiving books and selecting books. That being said, one of the things that I'm excited about with this Lexile is that it gives us, when a parent walks in and say, my child's in second grade, without this Lexile, without this map, as a public librarian, I'm like, but now with Lexile, I can look up second grade, and it tells me the books, and it gives me a map to start with. And when the mother says, well, he reads better than the second grader, then I can put in third grade. Or I can put in second. So it gives me a barometer. And so I appreciate the Lexile, and I appreciate being a public librarian and being able to be a part-time school librarian, but keep that public librarian frame of mind. And so that's what this library does, and I'm hoping it spreads out throughout Delaware County. So that's my spiel. One of the things I want to say before I close out is that it's important that we collaborate with the William Penn School District. It's important that we, as the public libraries, collaborate with the classes. Well, now I have a great relationship with the schools around here because the school is here and here. The only thing we're missing is a gate in between. We have to walk all the way around. But it's important that we collaborate with these schools because of what's going on with the reading levels and because of what's going on with literacy. And so I just want to thank William Penn School District, and I want to thank my trustee for bringing this to the library because this is surely needed, and it helps us help the public. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Marie Thompson, and I am the school site facilitator at Evans Elementary School.
And I'm Erica Wills, and I'm the site facilitator at Bell Avenue. And today we're just going to continue our conversation about picking the just right book and how it's connected with our public libraries.
So what's nice about this is some of the objectives have already been touched upon. So what does the SRI score mean? SRI score is the Scholastic Reading Inventory, and it is through that score that we have a Lexile given to us. So that's where the child and the family can learn what the Lexile is and be able to use that to help choose the just right book for that child.
We're going to touch on what reports you can get. So as a parent, you can come into our schools, and during report card conferences, it's a big time that the teachers will give them to you, but you can also come in and request them and get more information about what Lexile level and what books are appropriate for your child.
So this is a chart that we use within the William Penn School District. The Lexiles are a band, so you do not just get one specific number you'll say for a grade level. But when we discuss Lexile scores for a second grader at the beginning of the year or a fifth grader at the end of the year, this is the number of the Lexile that we specifically look at. So we were really excited when we walked in November and found that we had this chart right near the computers that the children used here, because that's where we knew that bridge was being formed. And the children were able to say, oh, I know my Lexile score, let me look where I am. And then that helped them go onto the websites that are already put up into the favorites here at the Yeadon Library.
So, based on your SRI score, there's different reading Lexiles that you'll take a look at. To be an independent reader, you want to focus on a book that is 50 points or more above your SRI score, and that's a book that, below, sorry, a child can read on their own. And they'll be focusing on the fluency and smoothness and expression. Again, that's 50 points below their SRI score that the student can read on their own.
And then for the instructional level, that's 25 points above or below. And for that purpose, the child may need some support, but we would be working more on the word attack and the decoding, some comprehension. So that's where that band would bring us.
And the last one would be the frustrational level. This is the books that are 50 points above their SRI score. And the child's going to need support to read this text. And that's something, these type of books you can read with your child. The fun books, the Harry Potters, the really thick books that they bring home and they say, oh, Mom, Dad, I want to read this. These are the books that you would read with them. And you would point out the comprehension, stop to ask questions to look at their understanding, make sense of unknown vocabulary.
So this is the point where I was, and I couldn't wait to get to this part of the presentation when in the entry you were speaking about how you don't want to discourage a child.
Oh.
We want a child to choose a book. And it's not for an instructional purpose. This is totally the love of reading. And to develop the love of reading, we want the child to be excited about the book. So if we have someone who's really excited about the Wimpy Kid Diary books and there's no way to get even close to that for readability, that's where you would say, oh, okay, this is above the instructional level. Well, in frustrational, so okay, let's do this as a read aloud. So this is time that you can spend with your child to read together. And we want to encourage. I never want to say, oh, you can't take that book. That's the last thing we want to say. It's just how do we use the Lexile to really gauge what support the child's going to need. Is it a book that they can read to a younger child? Is it one that you read as a family? So that's what we would use this information for.
Very helpful.
Thank you.
So this is just an example of a child score and the reports that you may get while you're in school from the teacher. And on here it will tell you the date of the test and what the Lexile results were for the Scholastic reading inventory. And at this point in the year, now that it's December, we've already taken a checkpoint in October and we'll be taking another one in January. So, again, we want to see an increasing of the SRI score and more readability, but as a parent, this is a report. Also at the bottom, it says, here are a number of things that you can do to support at home. And they're just little ideas, that the parents can do, again, to increase that score.
So you could look for an updated Lexile score coming home mid-January. So here is another report, and this is an example of how you could have more than one result. So this has a result from October as well as in January, and it gives how you see the Lexiles went from a 707 and the students' Lexile increased to a 784.